Welcome to my channel, sweet honey. If my stories speak to you, don't forget to subscribe. And maybe, if you listen closely, you'll understand why I'm telling this one. It began without warning. No spark, no plotting, no hidden fantasy. Just an ordinary evening, the kind that passes quietly without ceremony. The living room glowed dimly, the flicker of an old black and white film playing in the background. I was dressed for comfort, not presentation. An oversized sweatshirt, worn leggings, hair pulled back, no makeup. That was my normal now. Soft, faded fabrics and muted colors. Life itself had started to feel the same way. Dulled, blurred around the edges. The world kept moving, I stayed still. My name is Dana. I'm 47. For over 2 decades, I've been married to a man named Paul. He's not cruel. He's not unfaithful. He's simply not the man I once fell for. Or maybe I'm not the woman who fell for him. I can't even tell which is worse. We built a solid life. 2 wonderful children, a comfortable home, albums full of frozen smiles, drawers stuffed with dead batteries and forgotten receipts. But somewhere along the way, the warmth leaked out of us. Slowly, silently, like a draft you only notice when the room has already gone cold. We didn't fight, but we didn't touch. We didn't laugh, but we didn't cry either. We simply coexisted. 2 bodies in the same space, no longer sharing breath, skin, or soul. Our days were schedules, our nights heavy silences. I knew every sound he made. The shuffle of his steps, the way he cleared his throat before asking what was for dinner, the soft snore minutes after swallowing his pills while the TV cast light across our bed. What I didn't know anymore was the feeling of being looked at as a woman. Not a wife, not a mother, a woman someone wanted. That feeling had been gone for years. Then there was Tyler. Tyler is 31, my best friend's son. I'd known him since he was little, watching him run barefoot through my backyard, calling me Miss Dana with a mischievous grin. Back then, he was just a boy with skinned knees and a peanut butter obsession. Never mine. Never meant to be anything but a fond figure in someone else's story. But time changed him. College came and went. His shoulders broadened, his voice deepened. His eyes took on a sharpness I'd never noticed before. He became a man who noticed things. A man who noticed me. I can't pinpoint the exact moment the air between us shifted. Maybe it was at his mother's birthday dinner, when he held the door and said softly, "You still look amazing, Miss Dana." Or when he hugged me goodbye and held on just a heartbeat too long, the kind of hesitation that fluttered in my stomach and left my head spinning. Or maybe it was that night. Paul had taken his muscle relaxers early. His back had been giving him trouble, and by 9 he was asleep upstairs. Tyler had stayed late after dinner. The 3 of us had eaten together. Steak, roasted vegetables, nothing special, yet somehow warm in its familiarity. After Paul went to bed, Tyler asked if we could watch something. He loved old movies, said they slowed his thoughts. I liked that about him. He never rushed anything. Not conversations, not moments. Especially with me. We sat on the couch like we had plenty of times before. But this time felt different. The only sound was the quiet dialogue from the TV. My body was angled slightly toward his. Our knees brushed. I could have shifted away, but I didn't. Then his fingers grazed mine. I should have laughed it off, should have moved, but I didn't. I sat frozen between the safety of the familiar and the pull of something I didn't want to name. He didn't draw his hand back. Neither did I. It wasn't bold or crude, just his pinky brushing mine. But the touch shot through me like a spark to dry tinder. I gripped the blanket on my lap. My heartbeat roared in my ears. "You okay?" he whispered. He nodded. His hand moved to my thigh. Not claiming, not forceful, just there. Solid. Warm. My skin burned beneath his palm. The world fell away. I wasn't thinking about Paul. I wasn't thinking about consequences. I was only feeling. His thumb stroked slowly, deliberately. My breath caught. My knees parted slightly, instinctively. I hated how easy it felt. I hated how much I wanted more. "I'll stop if you want," he murmured. But I didn't want him to. We hadn't even kissed, yet I already felt undone, as if years of numbness had cracked open all at once. When I finally turned my head toward him, I kissed him. It wasn't rushed or desperate. It was soft, tender, like surfacing after years underwater. His lips were warm, careful, reverent. He kissed me as if I were something worth waiting for. We unraveled slowly, not just in touch but in something deeper. He touched places on me I'd long believed unworthy of being touched. Every movement was a silent question. My body answered without hesitation. By the time the movie ended, we were tangled together, breathing the same heavy air. We didn't speak. Words would have shattered the fragile reality we'd stepped into. The next morning felt colder than I expected. Not the weather, inside me. I stood in the kitchen, coffee cooling beside me, staring at the wall like it might explain what I'd done. Tyler passed through quietly, filled a glass of water, and left without a word. But I felt him, the memory of his hands, his breath, lingering in the silence. Days blurred together in that same quiet tension. We avoided each other but never escaped the pull. We brushed hands over a laundry basket, and static leapt up my arm. "I can't stop thinking about it," he murmured. "Me neither," I confessed. We didn't do it again, not right away. But the ache didn't fade. It grew, hungry and insistent. I started locking my bedroom door, not to keep him out but to keep myself in. I stopped watching old films. None of it worked. I couldn't unfeel what I'd felt in his arms. One evening we sat on the back porch steps. The sunset washed everything in gold and orange. He sat at the far end, giving me space. I hadn't even noticed the wine glass in my hand until he said quietly, "You've been quiet lately." "I've been thinking," I replied. "Me too." I looked at him then, really looked. He wasn't perfect, but there was something raw and beautiful in the way he carried unspoken things. "I shouldn't have let it happen," I whispered. "But you did. And I didn't stop you." His voice held no blame, only truth. I couldn't answer. My chest felt too heavy with unsaid words. He stood, gave me one slow nod, and walked into the fading light. I didn't call after him. I didn't cry. I just watched his figure dissolve into the shadows. Inside, Paul was rinsing dishes. He glanced at me. "You okay?" He nodded. But I wasn't. Because the worst part wasn't that it had happened. The worst part was that I wanted it to. And deep down I still did.